So I'm out without TJ today because I'm on the bike, scouting out new drainage ditches and waterways to see what kind of fish we've got in there. It's the dry season, so everything's dry, but it's a good time to see how deep the ponds are along the drainage canals. I'm on a road that goes from Korat to Buriram, and all the drainage here comes out of the national parks, like Taplan and which are up in the hills. These are the drainage ditches that run parallel to the highway. Parts of it are laid with concrete tunnels, especially under these little roads like this where people need access to villages. The villagers as well will dig these pits and smash up the pipes, so in the rainy season they fill with aquatic life, crustacea, whatever, and the fish have a feeding frenzy in there, so the locals will pull out their dinner. Locals being people that run shops like this, where I stop for my coffee breaks and what have you. That's the bike I use. It's a Kawasaki versus 650. Goes absolutely anywhere, never lets me down. And I've got a pretty good lighting system on the front, so I really can see in the wilderness at night time. So basically, if we follow this road probably 180 kilometers to the next province up, Buriram, on either side there are drainage channels which are in full flow in wet season, and this is when we catch the different kinds of fish that come out of the national park. But I come in the dry season to map it all, and what we do is we record specific GPS points where there's breaks in the concrete and little pools form, and then we can revisit them in the wet season to see what kind of fish are in here. So that's where we've come from, and that's where we're going to. These things are a fish trapper's dream, because we can just note the highway post as to where the ponds are without using GPS sometimes. Okay, so this is a typical area where the drainage has come down and there's a break in the concrete. So you can see over there, this here will fill up with water and become a pond. So the water exits down here somewhere on its way, fills this pond up, and obviously a lot of the insects and food in the water gets trapped in these ponds, and the fish have a feeding frenzy, so it's quite easy to collect animals, aquatic animals here. Again, this is just at the side of the road on the way through to Buriram. You can see the drainage is all dry. But in full dry season, when we've still got water like this, that's an absolute cert there will be fish in there all year round. Especially fish like Betta smaragdina, because this is the floodplain of the Chi River, which is a tributary of the Mekong, and this is where those fish are known to really thrive. Again, a really good habitat for Betta splendens. This part of the road too, we also get into the rice paddies. There's not so many rice paddies in Korat anymore, it's all sugarcane and cassava, where obviously there's no standing water, so there's no fighting fish. But as we get outside of Korat and towards Buriram, we get really beautiful rice paddies, and they are typical habitats for the fighting fish that have adapted, to be fair, really well to agricultural activities. As you can see, this is a busy road. And again, just off the highway on this road, there are so many small rivers. and these are generally full of fish. I can see fish surfacing from here. But this again, thick vegetation at the sides also, and this is again prime habitat for small fish like Betta splendens, and also big fish. You can get some pretty big river monsters in here, in these very slow moving rivers. So here I am under the highway on the way to Buriram. It's like a different world down here. I find so many different species of fish and snake. And when the Chi River floods, the Chi is a tributary to the Mekong. When these drainage ditches flood, or drainage channels, they flow into the rice paddies, which are that side of the road. And the rice paddies fill up with fighting fish. But there are so many different kinds of animals down here, and it's really stunning to see how these species have adapted to the local infrastructure and to agriculture. Some species are absolutely thriving in these kinds of environments, and especially the fighting fish, which is local to Korat. The local species is Betta smaragdina, and they are completely at home in the rice paddies and where agriculture has met the forest. They're doing really well. Plus there's less interest in collecting them. So despite what's thought, my local surveys seem to suggest that they're doing okay. Okay, and now we hit the start of the rice paddy area. All year the stream at the front will be full, and this is a consistently good location for finding croaking gouramis, small catfish, some big catfish and fighting fish. So the paddies are empty at the moment, but there's still water there. There's still fish in there because we still have egrets in there fishing for them. We'll find as we go along this road, these paddies get more and more green as we approach Buriram. Buriram is a lot more old school as regards farming than Korat. Korat is given over now to cash crops like sugarcane and cassava, whereas Buriram has maintained the older style of rice farming. Again, I'm so pleased I came here. This is how high these rivers get, and this is why all the rice paddies around here will flood. All this forest will flood too, and this is where the fish get trapped in pools, and we can collect them. This looks like a fantastic environment to fish, and I think tomorrow I'm going to come back here and try and collect. Yeah, for sure there's a boat down there, so there's obviously bigger fish in here too. But this looks like a really good, it's almost like a spillway. It's a really good spillway to come down and fish, and I think I will be here tomorrow. This looks fantastic. This really looks like it has potential. I think myself and TJ will invest in one of these too soon, if we can get this channel moving. But this looks like a good place, easy access as well. For maybe next weekend too, when TJ's here, we can scurry down the bank, maybe camp out somewhere. There's obviously lots of bridges to camp under. So this looks a really promising area. Definitely one for the GPS log. Just stopped for a pit stop on the way from Korat to Buriram, and typical nice run family shop, friendly people, very welcoming. And it's been a great day so far. I've found some really good places, and we shall continue down the road and find some more. Okay, I've just flipped over to the other side of the road because this is absolutely prime fighting fish territory. In the middle of the dry season, we've still got a decent depth of water, maybe 12 inches. And this is exactly the kind of place where you will for sure find fighting fish. There's also Indian almond trees around here, which are synonymous with this species, I would say. So let's have a look. Yeah, this is absolutely perfect territory for fighting fish. Absolutely perfect. The water is really clear as well, and there seems to be no oily residue on the top. Any kind of fertilizer runoff. This is absolutely prime, and I think this is another place that will come collecting next weekend and make a video. We'll properly survey this site because this is a really interesting place, and this stretches for maybe half a kilometre that way and 1 kilometre that way, so this really is a good place. This is also an extremely good place to see snakes, so it's going to have to be done carefully, but absolutely perfect. Okay, there are also different kinds of catfish and snakehead. This is pladuk, the Asian walking catfish, fantastic animal. But unfortunately, they raise thousands and thousands of fry, and these fish, a lot of them can breathe the air like snakehead and walking catfish. So they do get into the waterways. They are native species, but they're raised in the thousands, if not millions, and then they do get in the waterways and they will totally consume local populations of fighting fish. We'll see what happens next weekend, because I'll survey the area. This is in the area where I've just shown you the ponds. So we'll see what happens, see what impact they've had. Probably very little. This place seems really well run, but it also seems at the moment it's closed, probably due to COVID. People will probably come here and fish also. So they're probably closed for a bit. We'll see next weekend. Yeah, it does all look closed, so maybe there's no production going on here at all. I find that hard to believe though. But as I said, we'll survey the ponds and see how much impact local fish farming has had on the local. Okay, and now we're just about entering Buriram province. It's amazing to me how well the farmers do it in Buriram compared to Korat. Less rainfall, a lot more heat, so a lot more evaporation, but year round these people consistently raise a lot more rice. It's like Korat's given up in a way. They've gone to cassava, sugarcane, but these guys, they've stuck to the old school rice farming, and they seem to be able to retain water here even though there's less water to begin with. And this is what makes the province of Buriram so traditional and holds so many different species, where Korat seems to have lost a lot, all due to cash crops. This is the height of the dry season, no rainfall for ages, and yet here is all this water. But you'll notice farmers actually do work here all year round. There's a guy up there in a tractor, I don't know if you can see him, and he's already preparing for the rice growing season. Hey guys, so I'm back up to the road. I'm going to flip over the other side and continue towards Ampur Muang, the centre of Buriram. Still 40-50 kilometres to go, but this is the road. It's amazing that this world is just here. And this world is just here. Unbelievable. Again, this is what screams Buriram to me. They can do this in a dust bowl. None of the neighbours can, but Buriram can consistently do this, and I think it's got something to do with graft. Working hard and earning the title of farmer. The word farmer in Thailand is used much too widely, in my opinion. But here, the people in the fields here today, they are farmers. Just by comparison, this is typical from Korat. So this is cassava or tapioca, and where this would all be 6 inches of water, even in the dry season, there's nothing here because the rice paddies are filled in, if not raised a little bit, for this extremely sick looking cassava to kind of grow. So whereas the barren areas in Buriram would be full of water even at this time of year, albeit at a lower level, this is what we have, and obviously no fish live in here. And this is how cassava farming impacts the local fish taxa. This is essentially useless if you are a fish or a fish collector. But there again, people do have to survive, and I suppose that they will go for the thing that produces the highest return. However, there's not much of a return for the environment. For me, this is sad to see. This is not Thailand to me. This is not Isan, this is not the northeast, not how it used to be. Essential for me when I'm doing a recce to find new fish places is this motorbike. On a motorbike so tall, or on any motorbike, your head is higher than in a car, but especially on this one, so I can see over the highway bridges and what's on the other side. Things you wouldn't see from a car, so you miss a lot of opportunities for trapping fish if you're travelling by car. On a bike, you're in the environment rather than travelling through it. So this is why this machine is so useful. Plus as well, this will go anywhere, so I can get to a lot more remote locations. Obviously not with TJ, but it serves well. Okay, so this is the way back now from Buriram. We hit the border, went probably 30 kilometers outside downtown Buriram, and then I flipped onto the other side of the road. We're now coming back, and this is the area known as Nong Bunmak, which is where they sell all these ornamental trees. The drainage ditches here are full of tree vendors, so there's no real places to go collecting here, but I thought I'd show you because there's some beautiful trees for sale here. Some of the vendors also sell wild honey, which we just passed one where I put the arrow. Let's see if there's another one. They sell the wild honeycomb and the wild honey in empty whiskey bottles. Let's just see if we can see another. Did I pass any more? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes, we just passed another one. Okay, so we're now about halfway between my house and Nong Bunmak. Nong Bunmak is the place with all the beautiful flowers on the road. So I've just found a temple complex here, and there seems to be a good few ponds around at the roadside and in the temple itself. So let me just give you a quick tour. Okay, so this is the entrance to the temple, and outside the front near the road, bearing in mind I think it's either 3 meters or 5 meters either side of the highways in Thailand all belong to the government. So as long as you're not in a a non-hunting area, you're allowed to fish these waters with no special permissions. This looks like it could well produce something, probably not fighting fish because there's not much vegetation in the water, but for sure there'll be gouramis and other kinds of labyrinth fish in here. I think the water's flowing through a bigger pond up there, so let's take a look. Again, we've got rice paddies. We've actually got water in them in Korat at this time of year, which, as I said, is quite rare. But yeah, like a mini spillway here, so I guess in there will be catfish. Maybe pladuk, the Asian walking catfish. I guess that will produce. Let's have a look here. Okay, I can see from the flow of water that this is draining off from this rice paddy here. So yeah, I guess in all these spillway areas there will be larger fish. Of course in the pond up here there will be fish. It's interesting for me to see how many different species of croaking gourami are in this area. Yeah, so I guess all of this area will produce fish. The water's very clear. Oh, I can see fish. One just bolted off there, a big plachon or Asian snakehead. So if there's snakehead in here, there are smaller herbivorous fish also. But this is very clear water. So this area is also worth trapping, for sure. A good place to bring TJ also, because there won't be, well, there will be snakes here, but you can see them easily. They're not going to take you by surprise. But this looks like a quite nice little area to bring TJ. Have a picnic and collect some fish, I think. Let's just have a quick look at the temple. There's a new part under construction here. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is all being cladded, if that's the right word, or clad. Okay, so I think I'm going to head home, get some traps, and then maybe camp out under one of the bridges tonight and see what fish we turn up. This is a good little area for sure. Okay, so very simple. We are now ready to go trapping. So this is the umbrella trap, which I'll show you when we get there. Got some baits, which is chicken heart, mackerel and freshwater snails. Flashlight that fits on my head, and I just sleep on the bank, so I don't need a tent or this or that. Sleep under a bridge. And the other thing that I always forget, a big rock to weigh the trap down. Okay, so I will show you setting up under the bridge. Okay guys, so this is where I will sleep tonight. I think this is going to be a good productive little fish trapping area. And on the other bank over there, I can sleep on the ledge. So we'll set up a trap at this side, a trap at the mouth out there, one in this area here, and one over the other bank where I will sleep. But yeah, I can see fish down here. Let me have a look. Is that a dead snake? Ah, no, just some vegetation. Yeah, I can see fish rings out there, so I think this will be the place to trap tonight. You can see rice paddies out in the background, so there should be plenty of fish in all these waterways. I haven't seen any right under this bridge, but this gets deep very quickly. Very shallow, and then boom, it cuts away very deep. And we are literally just meters from the highway. I'll show you as I come out. Just out of this little hole here. Wait. This is where we are. Just on the highway. Okay, so I've got the trap set up in the first location. And now, I thought I'd just come down here to the Wild River rather than the drainage canal to see what we can pull out of here. Be careful in here because of snakes, especially this time of day. But this looks like a great location. Anywhere where there's these small boats, the local guys are definitely fishing in here. So this looks really a good place. Yeah, this is fantastic. This really is fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one in all night. Tie it up somewhere. Hopefully nobody decides they're disappearing with my fish trap. I can see fish down here already. I can't see them, but I can see the rings as they surface. Okay, so time to get baited up and see what this location produces. Okay, so very simply, we need a rock in to weight the trap down. Bait, so we've got mackerel, we've got chicken heart, and we've got freshwater snails, some more in here somewhere. And then let's see if we can actually get the rock in. Yeah, we can. Okay. Trying to do this with one hand and video it at the same time. Oi. Okay. So we've got the rock in. And then let's find some more snails. They're freshwater snails that people eat, and you get them from the market for about 70 baht a kilo, so they're not actually cheap here. But they're a really good natural freshwater bait. So, nearly done. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is tie the string on, tie it to a tree on the bank, and hopefully none of the old village boys that come down here at night are going to steal my trap. But there seems to be no one around at the moment, and these guys would normally be coming out about this time, so let's see how we go. Interestingly also, I can hear bat sonar from up in here, so there's obviously bats up in the crevices. I don't know what kind because I haven't seen them, but we will definitely see bats later tonight. But now I'm going to go find some dinner and relax in the first location. The trap in here is set, so hopefully, as I said, nobody steals it, and I'll be back up here in the morning to see what we've caught. Okay, so I always worry that my bike can get knocked over on the highway actually. The highway's just up there. This is also a good place to camp, obviously, unless a truck comes through the overpass. But yeah, a lot of bats around here. I can hear them all over.